Okay.
Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to fail the NCLEX the first time? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I'm the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V. Our goal is to teach nurses how to leverage the knowledge that they already know, working from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you are ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Our special guest today is Melissa Bellamy. Melissa graduated with her BSN from North Carolina A&T State University. Go Aggies, although I'm not an Aggie. I don't know if I can say that or not. In 2012. She went on to graduate with her MSN with a specialty in family nurse practice from Walden University in 2018, where she is currently in their DNP program. She is a member of Chi Eta Phi and Zeta Phi Beta sororities. Got that right. I don't want to mess up because, I don't want the sorority to come after me. She is the CEO and the founder of Black Nurses Rock Greater Charlotte chapter. She currently works as a pain management specialist. She has been married for 17 years with 4 children. She is passionate about life and loves to serve others in her community. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. You are amazing. I love you. I mean, this has been like this whole time we have interacted with each other. It has just been really a good time, just back and forth. So now tell us the original reason why you wanted to become a nurse.
The original reason I became a nurse, it all started as a young girl. I was 13 at the time, possibly maybe 14. I used to be a candy striper at Charlotte. It's in Charlotte, Carolina Medical Center. And I did it for a couple months. It was a summer thing. My dad was telling me about it, so I did it. But I didn't think it was for me. I had wanted to be a lawyer too, so therefore I started didn't even thinking about being a nurse. But when my aunt Stephanie Mercer, when she passed, she was one of my main reason I became a nurse because she had breast cancer. But I also had a reconnection when I was in the hospital with my daughter, Ramaya. I was pregnant with her at the time. I had what you call was preeclampsia. It turned into eclampsia for 2 weeks. I was in the hospital. I was sick. I almost died. And between those 2 weeks, I was able to connect with the doctors, the nurses, and I started doing my own research. I did classes. Of course, they wasn't the best grades to be the best nurse, as they say, or to be able to get into a nursing program. But at that time, thanks be to my husband and to God, I was able to quit my factory job because I worked in the factory for over 5 years. And at the time, when I had Ramaya, I had decided to just step back. I talked to my husband in 2009. Let me see, I had Ramaya 2007. I had her 2007, 2008 of January 10th, my life changed. I quit my job.
And went to nursing school.
I went back to nursing school.
I love it. I love it. Now, when you were 15, you became pregnant. Now, what was going through your mind at that time concerning your future? Or was telling your parents the first thought? Because that would have been my first thought.
That was not my first thought.
Okay.
That was not my first thought. My first thought was, I'm 15, I'm pregnant. How am I going to take care of a baby? How am I going to be all the things that I wanted to be or do? How was I going to be able to go to school, go to college, because college was always instilled in me as a young girl. Even with my brothers and my sisters, my father, he always told us a key to success was a great education. And I knew some of that at the time, but at the time I was like, he's gonna be really upset at me because I had let down a lot of people, especially when you have different things that takes place. And I'm being honest. Being pregnant at age 15, I was not prepared at all, especially with different trials and tribulations that I was going through at the time. And no, telling my parents was not the first thing on my brain.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I think, I think mine was a little bit different. Like when I got pregnant, after I got married, I was like, I was scared to tell my mom. I was like, well, she can't know that I'm having sex. I mean, she was just that kind of mama, right? But yeah, I completely understand that, when you're 15 and whenever you're pregnant and understanding what your future looks like. And I like that forward thinking that you had, because sometimes people don't have that forward thinking. I just didn't have that forward thinking at 15. Right. And so for you to be able to have that forward thinking, for you to be able to have that foresight and say, okay, this may hinder a few things, but obviously it didn't. You
It
worked
did
it out.
not. Dr. V, I'm telling you, when I think about it, or when I have thought about it, it was a few steps that I had to even go through. It was either you're going to keep a baby or have a baby. And the good thing about it, my husband, who is the father of me, who was the father of Jacory, our first son, thank God it worked out, because everybody's story don't work out to where they married their baby daddy. It don't work out, and trust me, it wasn't a pretty situation, because at the same time it was things I had to think about it. And I actually went to school pregnant with my son. I went to school at the school called Millwood in Charlotte, North Carolina. I
Mhm.
was able to go to school, high school to be exact. I was able to graduate still a whole year early from North Mecklenburg, even after I had Jacory. So a lot of things did happen, but I had to tell myself. I remember carrying that book bag with a car seat beside me. I remember getting on the bus in Charlotte, North Carolina, going back and forth to doctor's appointments, going back and forth to school. But it was not always pretty. Trust me, it was not.
But you did it, and I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, that is so phenomenal, phenomenal. Now, when we talked, you said that your parents went away for a while. Now, this is something that you would cover in your book. So we're going to wait till the book comes out to get the details of why they went away. Now, how did that affect your life?
I think in some ways at the time I didn't get to really process it. As the oldest girl, I didn't really process it until after the fact. Even years later, discussing it with my parents now, because we talk, I see them all the time. Every now and then we try to talk about it, but I tell you, if I put myself back in that situation, being with my brothers and my other sisters, and then look at different things, it was like, OMG, how am I going to get through this? Even for us to stay together as a family, because like I said, that book gonna tell more than enough for you to understand why it's important to have a good foundation with your parents. While it's good to have a good foundation with your brothers and sisters, and a good foundation with everyone else, because guess what? Everyone else is not going to be there for you when things happen. So at the same time, having those relationships with your parents is much important than I realized, because now as a 39-year-old woman, I can see a big difference in what things I was told then and what I have learned over those years. That was 22 years ago. My son is 22. So that was over 22, 23 years ago when everything really, really took place. And thank God when they did go away, it was only for a short period of time, but that short period of time was a lot to
Yeah.
handle.
They must be amazing parents, because they left such an impact on you. And I'm a firm believer that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Now, sometimes people overcome those bad instances in life, but I think a lot of times, the your what you put in your children is what's coming out of them, right? And that's huge, huge, huge. Now you graduated school early, even after being pregnant, but was told that you were not good enough. Now, how did this affect your mental state?
So it takes me back to a situation that did happen. So if I fast forward to then, because at that time, by a certain person did tell me to do what they did to take care of their kids. Because going through, if you have someone to tell you that you're not smart enough, that you talk too fast, that you're dumb, and that you don't know everything, or you're not able to process it all, that takes a lot to ingest. And if I was who I am now, if I knew what I knew now, I would have tried to push everything back and not take it in, because I believe it did have an effect on me, the way I thought about who I am. Or even now going to school, it has a play on my brain sometimes. But whenever I look and read, because I do read my Bible and I do trust God, I'm a firm believer. It says in the Bible, I can do all things through
Through
Christ
Christ.
who strengthens me. So it's no strength of my own, but with the strength of God and the strength of my family and my mom, my dad. Again, my dad and my mom really had the most impact with me, because when you take a young girl who is pregnant and then the outlook looks different, and you have everyone telling you, "Oh, you don't have it in you. How you gonna take care of a baby? You can't afford a baby. You can't go to college. College not for you. Not right now. You need to just get you a job and take care of your kid." Even when I did not get into nursing school, I don't know if I moved too fast, but
Go ahead.
okay. Even when I did not get into Wisconsin State, it was my first time actually applying to nursing school. And at the time, I was 26 years old. I had took the SAT score or the SAT a few years back, or a month or two. My SAT score, verbal reading score, I remember it was a 416. They needed a 419. So I wasn't too far off, but it was not good enough for Winston-Salem State. But I'll never forget, I cried. My mother-in-law, she hugged me at the time. My husband was so supportive. He said, "Melissa, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen." He told me, "Don't give up regardless," even down to my mom and my dad. But at the same time, I tell you, if you don't even meet that certain goal, you still have to push forward. And I never forget that one of my nursing instructor at Wisconsin State, I don't know whether she was setting it up to tell me I didn't get in, but in class, I remember her saying there's different paths you can take to get to that end goal. Whether it's the ADN or BSN, you still got to go a different route. It don't have to be this school or this other school. Just don't give up. And that's why I will always tell anybody, no matter what, I didn't have the straight A's through nursing school, but I will say one thing: if you put your best foot forward, you will get in.
You know what? There's so many things there's a couple of things that you said that were very valuable. First of all, the first thing that is that the end goal is the end goal, and how you get to the end goal, as long as
Yeah.
it's legal and as long as it's ethical, getting to that end goal does not have to be one path. And so we go that one path that we think that we should go, and then what happens is we say, well, okay, that didn't work, so
Right.
that shouldn't be for me. When the reality is that no, that's just you
Mhm.
going a different way in order to get to
Right.
where you need to be. And
Mhm.
so I just love that. The second thing is that you were told that you talk too fast, and the reason why and you talking too fast was a bad thing. But the reality is that the way that I think about people who talk too fast, I think that they're very intelligent and that the words come out very succinctly. And so I think that talking fast is a good thing, because
Mhm.
I talk fast as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So some people can't understand what I'm saying sometimes, but I mean, it is because it comes so fast, and
Right.
I'm pushing the words out in order to get to where I need to be. As long as they understand, then people, I'm just like, what? People have to understand that
They
their
did.
words can be very harmful.
They did.
So I hate that it happened to you, but I love it. Now you tried to get into that local school and you were not able to get into that. Now you failed the NCLEX on the first go round. Now
I did.
how did that affect you?
That happened. That was a big blow. When I got into went to North Carolina A&T, it was good. I'm a back for come back a little bit because I did fail the class at North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
And thank God for grace and mercy that you have the best professors who know how to invest in their students, who know how to rearrange some classes just for you to be able to take the classes you need to be able to take the class and still graduate on time. So, with that being said, one of my mentors, they invested in me. I was ready, doing my questions. I think we had to do like 1,000. I was doing good, 1,000 questions, maybe in 1 week, or maybe like 200 questions a day. At the time, dealing with Kaplan because I did do my Kaplan review. My scores wasn't the perfect score to say I was going to pass the NCLEX. It told me I was good enough to pass, but it didn't tell me how good enough I'm going to pass. So with Kaplan and with the North Carolina Board of Nursing, I had to really do some questions. I had to do some things. I went in on August the 6th. Never forget it. August the 6th of 2012. And I took my NCLEX. I did my questions. I went through each question, but I was nervous too that day. I never forget that day. I was nervous. I went through the questions, and as I was answering the questions, I thought I was getting it, but maybe I missed it somehow. So my questions cut off on 93. Never forget it. It's a magic number that it's supposed to cut off on. It's 90. So it wasn't 75 then, but it was 93. And I never forget, 2 days later, I tried to see that I passed or didn't pass. I failed. That was a hurtful situation for me because being a girl who was already told you wasn't good enough or you can't do it or change your path and do something different, that was hard. That was a mental thing that breakdown for me. So I had to regroup between my husband being the best support I have, my children. Even at the time, I think Corey might remember. The little girl, Ramaya, might not remember, but my oldest son, I think he remember. And my parents and my mother-in-law, everyone, they wasn't disappointed. They said, Melissa, just step back and try to do it over. They didn't tell me to change it. They didn't tell me to do something different. They told me, you're going to go back and pass this test the second time around. So from September, October, November, I did the most humble thing I could ever do. I got me a tutor. I did. I took another course that was in Tennessee. I took like a weekend course. It's called the Hearst Review.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went through that review for that weekend, I realized it wasn't the content that I was missing because I knew the content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important as a nurse, knowing the content. But most importantly, I had to learn how to answer the questions. If you answer the questions the way that you're supposed to, or think about it, because we have to process it through our brain, then you should be able to answer the questions with no problem. And that's what my tutor taught me how to do. So you do have to invest in the test. You have to do a couple steps more than anybody else because at the time, remember, I was already married. I have already had 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, my load was a little bit different and working part-time as a CNA. So December the 18th, 2 days before my birthday, we went past that NCLEX.
You better do it.
When I tell you the day on the NCLEX, between my husband drove me. I didn't tell nobody, but my husband drove me. I remember that day clearly. Drove me to Winston-Salem to the testing center. We prayed. I went in there, out into that room. When I say every 10 questions, I got up, sat back down. Every 10 questions, I got up and walked out and prayed and told God, thank you in advance. Because remember, we don't do things on our own. I went to the bathroom, and I tell you, when that last question, you never forget your last question. The last question was how to give blood. And it was a priority questions because remember, if you're a nurse watching, we have priority questions that we do. You know if you're doing good on the NCLEX, if you get a majority of priority questions that you have to rearrange and put in order. And that was about giving blood. And I never forget, I had to rearrange two things: the saline infusion, saline first, and then something else second. But I rearranged my test, went blank. I took my survey, and I did a little trick that we could do. Go back to try to um, register for the NCLEX. It wouldn't let me do it. My tutor and my husband was like, "Just relax. I already know you got it." My tutor said, "You passed the NCLEX," and I passed the NCLEX.
I love it. I love it. Like that always makes me tear up because, getting up and thanking God in advance,
Mhm.
saying, I know you got me, right? I mean, that is gold, 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 gold. And, Jocelyn is talking about a tutor works, you can't read anything into the question. And one of the on Clubhouse, we had this session where we were talking one day about Stacy Forte, who has Forte as my
Mhm.
consulting as my Forte as her company, and she talks about that. She talks about the fact that you can't read into that question. You have to break the question down, and it's as much mental as it is anything, right? And
Right.
then Camila was like, yes, learning how to answer those questions is key. And it is the truth.
Mhm. It is the key. It's the key.
It is the truth. I love it. Now, you are now in school to get your DNP after all of that. Now, what made you want to reach this highest degree in nursing?
Okay, so the highest degree we know is a DNP or a PhD. I am by far. I love what I do. I love who I am. I love what I can do for my patients. But the most important thing when I was pregnant with my kid, because all two pregnancies, three pregnancies, because we did lose a baby, were high risk pregnancy. And I have always said, if I can do it, let me try to open up a clinic somehow. So with knowing that, I knew if I go back to get my DNP, it would open up doors for me, whether it's something local or not local. And right now, my goal is to be able to learn much as possible to understand to understand the most important reason to get a DNP. Because at the same time, I will be the first in my immediate family to really pursue a terminal degree. And to be honest, in the nursing world, DNP, we could do a lot of things. Even right now, I'm also teaching. Yes, I work full time as a pain management nurse practitioner, but in my free time, I do teach at Northern Kentucky University. So therefore, who knows what God may do? Some doors open up, but I do really want to open up a clinic, maybe to serve the underserved population, maybe with a low cost because everybody don't have insurance. Everyone do not get Medicaid or Medicare. So who knows what God have in store for me.
I know. I love it. I love it. You have rocked it out. Now, you have been exercising lately. How important is exercising to your mental and physical health?
When I tell you these last 2 weeks has been a game changer. I have watched my husband exercise for years. I have watched him come home sweating. I'm like, what he doing at the gym? I have tried it. I'm being honest. I have tried it. I tried it. I tried it. I tried go. It wouldn't work. But lately, to be honest with you, dealing with the position that I am in now, and then I am a mom, a wife, somehow it can all become overwhelming. And that's been real talk. It can be overwhelming. And knowing that we're a nurse and who give out so much every day in, day out, it could be mentally draining. So I've been telling everybody, I've been going for the sleep. I have the best sleep. The
Girl.
is the My body, I could tell the difference in my body. If you work your way up, you will be okay. And I'm telling you, I am up to 3 miles now on the elliptical. Thanks. I'm getting it. I'm trying to, but at the same time, I have to train my brain to eat the right foods as well. So yes, it can be very relaxing. I just feel like you could give all your stress in moving. Somehow it just all come down.
Yes, yes. I exercise in the morning and my sleep is it's very good. My husband's like, before your head hits that pillow, you are out. Because
Yes.
I am good. I don't have any problem sleeping at all. But it is because, waking up at 4 a.m., being very intentional about that exercise, being very intentional about, doing what you need to do for sure
Right.
in order to get you back to where you need to be. Now, what is one book that you have read that has impacted your life? What is some of the advice that you would give the audience based on that book?
Okay, so everyone know that we had the bomb first lady, Michelle Obama.
Ah, yes.
So she was also our speaker at my graduation when I graduated North Carolina A&T in 2012. So
Ah,
for her book Becoming, I actually love the ideals of the fact that she told about her story as becoming Michelle Obama. Because remember, we all is different in so many ways. Our backgrounds, our history affects who we are today and who we will become later on in life. So my advice would be I'm still becoming Melissa Bellamy. I'm still becoming Dr. Bellamy because I'll be
that
Dr.
you better say that, girl. I can't wait.
Me either. So becoming who I am, I'm still learning. I might be surprised myself who I will become. But at the most, if I give anybody any advice right now, I would say don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on you. It may not look perfect. The vision may not even look like you want it to look. I'm telling you. Always keep God first. If you don't, try to find something or someone to inspire you, because at the end of the day it's going to only take you to do what you know to do to make sure your life is better no matter what. Take everything and strive. Take every test and trials and strive with it. Take it for what it's worth, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as my husband say. So who knows, I'm just excited about who I am becoming right now.
I love it. I love it. And Jocelyn said that you're amazing, and I
Mhm.
definitely think that you are. You have been absolutely phenomenal throughout this whole process. I'm just super excited about our connection.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of friends in Charlotte. Like I used to come to Charlotte all the time. I'm
Yeah.
coming now. I mean, I gotta come. I
We
got
got
I got
bomb.
look, I have friends that I can have dinner with every single night. And Camila said that you were awesome as well.
Well, I said
Um,
thank you. And I hope my parents live in Charlotte and my daddy make a mean Simon. So we'll make sure you have a good dinner when you come.
oh, well, good. All right. Well, hallelujah. So now, your book. When is your book coming out?
Hopefully. So right now, guess what? With
Okay.
me taking things that I have to learn how to put everything together. So we're gonna be working on that book hopefully within the next year or so. So be
Okay.
on the lookout. You and hopefully my husband will be a co-author with me as well.
Good, good, good. I'm loving, I'm loving your husband by proxy because he's so supportive. I love it
Well, yes,
because
he
my husband is very supportive too. And it means so much, right? We're able to do so much more because of our supportive husbands. So I'm super excited about everything
is.
that you've got going on. It's just amazing, amazing. So thank you, thank you,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce, owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know, working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders like Dr. Bellamy, because we're going to go ahead and speak that. to have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you were not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal day. And thank everyone who listened and commented. It's just been a great time. I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.